Hey, this is Scott Sumter with Bike Iowa. It is week 19, September 25th. This is every Friday in summer where I tell you what's on my radar on the cycling scene. So, number one, the weather. That's what's on my radar. Nice sun coming into my eyes right now. I know cooler temps are coming and I'm getting as much riding and camping as that I can lately. Love this time of the year. I mean, the nights are even nice and warm. We're going to have, 90 degrees this weekend, but just calling it out. Great weather right now. I'm not looking forward to jacket weather, glove weather, stocking cap weather, but this Saturday, if you're not doing anything, check out these 5 events on the Bike Iowa calendar. It's the 2020 Fall Family Fun Ride. It's a trail ride in Des Moines. You got the RAGBRAI Roadshow on the Cedar Valley Nature Trail in Marion. You got Tour de Maples in Osage, and you got the University of Okoboji Oktoberfest. That's a party ride in Arnold's Park. And don't forget, COVID's still a real thing. Numbers are still really high in Iowa, so please practice social distancing. If you choose to get out and enjoy, even if it's by yourself. Number 2, we're going to continue with events. October events. Still plenty to do. October 3rd, we've got a bunch of them. Buffalo 105 in Newton, Snaggy Ridge 105 in Tipton, Volga City Gravel Race in Volga, RAGBRAI Roadshow, High Trestle Trail in Slater. You got the Cedar Dirty Duathlon is canceled, if you haven't heard that, and the Ride Across Iowa in a Day, which is Raid, is canceled. October 9th was scheduled to be Jingle Cross, it's canceled. October 10th is the RAGBRAI Roadshow, Great Western Trail in Cumming. October 17th is the Joe Mann Memorial Ride in Muscatine, the Fattober Fat and Mountain Bike Trail Ride in Osage. You got the RAGBRAI Roadshow on the Neil Smith Trail in Des Moines, and the Iowa City Gravel Race is canceled. October 24th is Spotted Horse Gravel Ultra in St. Charles. That's still a go. There are a few more events listed out there on the calendar. These are just the major ones that I chose to read off. I want to say thanks to all the event coordinators, period. We know it's been a tough decision to still hold your event, let alone cancel your event, and let alone even attend one this year. If you canceled, we know that decision was tough, and if you choose to still have your event, we know that's stressful as well, and we'll support you where we can. So good luck to everybody having an event in the next, this weekend all the way up through December. Hopefully things slow down a little bit. Number 3. State and county parks. So we've mentioned a little bit about this before, but yeah, we love staycations. And state parks, county parks are a perfect place to get away from it all and not travel too far. You'd be amazed at the varying terrain and topography that Iowa has to offer. So last week we took a 4-day weekend in northeast Iowa. We camped, we rode, we hiked, and we found some gnarly gravel roads and scenic byways to drive on, including a bunch of miles on the Great River Road along the Mississippi. Here's just a real quick rundown on the different things that we did. We went to the Yellow River State Forest, super tall trees, lots of elevation change, rocky trails. Some are hiking only, some allow hiking, biking, and horses. We camped there too. It's a great place. We could easily spend 2 or 3 days there. We hit Backbone State Park. It was Iowa's first state park. Gorgeous scenery. There's some gnarly dirt trails. Rock, gritty, plenty of paved roads to ride on, and a great place to camp, even a better place to hike and check out the Backbone Trail. Volga State Park, we only hiked there. We spent just a couple hours in there, but definitely want to go back and explore more. Echo Valley was a smaller park. We only hiked, but found plenty to see along an old creek, along a creek and old bridges, dams, and the CCC buildings that were built back in, I believe, the 40s. We hiked at Bellevue State Park. We hiked at the Mines of Spain recreation area near Dubuque. We started at the Deer Creek Campground in Charlotte, Iowa. That's last week's Friday Fives. We were riding the Turds of Misery, the 200K route, and that's what we did from Charlotte. Pretty nice little campground there. Cheap, full hookups. So a tip, if you get to Charlotte, if the meat locker's open, they have excellent meat sticks, and we even bought some bacon too, which I'm assuming will be just as tasty as the meat sticks. We also camped 10 feet from the Mississippi River at Miller Riverview Park and Campground in Dubuque. But one of the most interesting activities was not even bike related, was crossing the Mississippi on the Cassville Car Ferry. We boarded the van on the Iowa side near Millville and got off at Cassville, Wisconsin. It's pretty much across the river with a little bit of downstream. Probably, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes on the water. And then we found some scenic roads, including some gravel on the Wisconsin side, and we went up through Prairie du Chien. If you're interested in that ferry, take a look at cassville.org/ferry. Cassville, C-A-S-S-ville. We'll post it on the notes. The ferry closes on October 25th, so get it in if you want some. The leaves are just starting to change, what we saw, so hopefully in the next week or two, they'll definitely be changing. So get some while you can. We'll link the links for the state and county parks on this review afterwards. Number 4. Rest in peace, Paul Black. On Wednesday, our good friend Paul Black passed away from complications of pneumonia, cancer, and bout of leukemia. Paul was a pillar in the Central Iowa cycling community, but was really known worldwide. Paul was super kind, quiet, soft-spoken, humble, and methodical. But once you got him talking, you'd know you'd be in for a good detailed story. Paul was in his mid-70s, and he had done about every type of endurance race out there. He was a longtime mentor in the Des Moines Cycle Club. He crewed for others on various races around the country, and he could still pedal circles around most of the fast folks who are still in their 30s. Paul was a player in the endurance cycling scene since the early 70s. His racing pedigree is impressive, having competed several self-contained tours, competing and winning countless brevets, winning first place in the 550-mile race in Ohio. He finished Paris-Brest-Paris in 1991. He finished RAM, Race Across America, in 1992. He raced several Idita-Bike and Idita-Bike Extreme races from 1995 to 2000. So the Idita-Bike stuff, the winter racing is especially epic to me, since way back in 95 to 2000, there were no fat bikes, there were no fat bike tires. And just think about how much better the gear and nutrition has gotten since then. And Paul was doing those back in 95 and 2000 with pretty much an oversized mountain bike tire and, really kind of antiquated gear at this point in time. I was excited when Paul was our featured speaker at the Fire Trucker Adventure Bike Talk in January 2019. We got to hear about his life experiences on a bicycle. We got to see old slides. We got to see his old bicycles. He brought those in. He only talked for 2 hours, but I could have easily listened for 10, as every one of his stories was epic and had a good storyline to it. So I think if there's ever a person you'd call a badass, it'd be Paul. And if I said that to him right now, he'd just smile and shrug it off. So this week I was reading some quotes from some friends who wrote about Paul, and 4 of these stuck in my mind. Number 1 is from Kyle Robinson. He said, "Heaven's cycling team just received a ringer." Sarah Cooper said, "Paul was having epic adventures and ultra racing long before it was cool." Pat Coughlin said, "A lion in sheep's clothing." Harry Fortney said, "Paul was one of the good guys. He'd wait for you on a group ride so he could tear your legs off again. He always helped his teammates and others to be better cyclists and better people in general. He was a role model, always looking for his next adventure." So there's no word on funeral arrangements yet. I assume it'll be a family-only event, but with COVID going on. But you could read the updates on Caring Bridge. We'll post a link in this review. So rest in peace, Paul. You're a good friend. Number 5, Pokey Lights. So I just kind of want to mention this as the weather gets cooler. This is a product I created in 2018 after enduring a really rainy and cold 2017, where 6 out of 11 of my main events were in inclement weather. I just got tired of the cold hands and being on the verge of hypothermia at the end of some of these races, and I knew there had to be something better. And they've actually got pretty popular in the last couple of years. I just kind of want to explain what they are if you're not familiar with it. So first of all, what are they? Well, they're a 4-season, super lightweight, water-resistant, windproof Pokey that keeps the wind and rain and muck off your hands. So if you don't really know, what is a Pokey? So if you're familiar with bar mitts, those are a style of Pokey. They're more common in the ATV and snowmobile industry, where they fit over the handlebars to shield your hands from the elements. Most of those are used in cold weather races and rides like Iditarod in Alaska. And thirdly, why do I call them Pokey Lights? Well, normally Pokeys are pretty big, bulky, they're insulated, but Pokey Lights are single-walled, really flexible. They're only 3 ounces, and when folded up, they take about as much room as the space of a beer can. They can also be folded up on your bars, stuffed in a jersey pocket, or a bike bag when not needed. This is where the lights in Pokey Lights comes in. So these are the Pokey Lights. Hopefully you can see those. But really, you stick your hands in them, you stick them on your bar, that's straight bar, down bar, Jones bar, anything like that. You cinch them up on this side, you can cinch them up a little bit here. But really, they are just they create an air pocket with your hands around your handlebars. They keep the wind out. Some of the muddy races, it doesn't get up all over your hands, on your controls. We make these. They're made about 10 feet to my right. Jess is the sewer and I'm the assembler. And as simple as they are, they do take some time to make. You know, sure, we could say, hey, I want 1,000 of these made in China and get them right away. But if you guys know me, that's not me. We like to source local and through the U.S. when we can. We are definitely the definition of small batch. So why do they work so well? It's, as I mentioned, it's the air pocket created by the windproof ripstop material that keeps your hands warm. Pokey Lights allows you to keep control over the temperature on your hands. So most people, when their hands get cold outside, they'll get cold because they're sweating inside their gloves. And once this happens, you're done. So most folks overdress by wearing too heavy of a glove or using a big ass pokey where there's only one position for your hand to go, and that's inside the pokey, no matter how hot you get. You really can't take them outside the pokey and have any control over your bike. Well, the Pokey Lights, I mean, here's a pair, right? So that's them folded up. About the size, like I say, size of a beer can, goes in your jersey pocket, what have you. These you can shift, you can steer, you can brake over the top, whether or not you're in straight bars, drop bars, or Jones bars. And allows you all your handlebar positions, so you can ride in the drops, you can ride in the hoods, you can ride on the straights, different spots, and you're not locked into one position. So as your hands get hot, you can feel that. You take them out of the pokies, you put them on top of your handlebars, you ride like that for a while until they get cool again. So it's really an experience of you controlling where your hands are when you're riding. You can also roll them back on your bars. You can also roll them back on your hands. So maybe just your fingertips, you know, kind of chilly. Rest of your hand, your wrist is not. You can kind of roll them back up until that point. And it took a while for me to figure that out. When I first created it, they were either on or off. But as you ride with them, you realize you can control the temperature even more by rolling them back and using the ability to get in and out. Would I take them on a negative 30-degree trip in Alaska? Yeah, probably not. They're not that heavy of a pokey, but I have used them countless times in single-digit temperatures with lightweight gloves and still don't have any issues, and I really don't have that good of circulation in my hands anyway, so I do get cold quickly. The only time I pushed the limits was last January at the Triple D when it's a 65-mile fat bike race. I knew it was going to be cold that day, but I wanted to try them out. The race temps dropped from... We started in 30 degrees and 20-mile-an-hour winds, and we ended with 30-mile-an-hour winds, 6 degrees, and we had 50-mile-an-hour gusts. And that made the temp wind chill negative 17 degrees. And that's the only time when I kind of felt like I was pushing to the limits. And really, my face, little bits of my face and my feet were probably colder than my hands were. There was only one person who finished that race that year, and it was not me. So Pokey Lights aren't just for winter riding either. I used them this August in Montana when they had a cool, windy, rainy morning. And I used them several times this summer when there was just a rain drizzle or a rainstorm and I just happened to get caught in it or actually left in the rain. But I always pretty much keep them packed with me. They're popular with the community folks too, where you never know where the wind will be like or the chill in the morning or late evening after you get off of work. And you don't want to carry another set of gloves or a full-size pokey. They're the only pokey on the market that works with straight bars, drop bars, flared bars, or even Jones bars. And they slip over the controls of pretty much every bike I've tested them on. Also wanted to mention the Pokey Lights, you know, they aren't the magic bullet for everybody. If you're riding really slow and very cold temps and not building up any body heat, probably won't be very happy with the Pokey Lights. You got to actually be rolling, keeping up your body heat in order for the Pokey Lights to build up that warm air pocket. They're very versatile, and it has definitely changed my inclement riding abilities. So we've had several people test these over the years. We've had fatbike.com, ridinggravel.com. They've tested them, posted positive reviews. Andrea Cohen took them on the Tour Divide route in 2018. I took them in basically everything I was doing on 2018. They worked great. To date, I think we sold to over 40 states and 5 countries, and this morning we just sent a pair to Boise, Idaho. So how do you get them? Well, they're $75 a pair on the Bike Iowa store, bikeiowa.com/shop. World of Bikes in Iowa City and Beaverdale Bicycles in Beaverdale Bicycles in Des Moines, they both have a small supply. Goldfinch Cyclery in Cedar Rapids will have a supply in probably not this week, but next week. And I just want to kind of mention, though, this wasn't really a sales pitch. I'm just telling you a story about how a product derived through riding. And it just, as the old saying goes, there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad gear. So that's it for this week. I just wanted to also note that we've done this every Friday through the summer. And starting next week, we're going to start doing this once a month. So we're going to do it just in October sometime. We don't know if it's going to be the first Friday, the second Friday, third Friday. It kind of depends on how things work out. We'll let you know a few days in advance before we go live so you can tune in. And of course, you'll still be able to watch it via YouTube on Bike Iowa Reviews afterwards. And if there's something you want us to share on our Friday Fives, ping us on Facebook or email biker@bikeiowa.com. Thank you, ride safe, and stay healthy.